Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park.
Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
And welcome to Minute 80 of Do You Want to Party, the Movies by Minute podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, The Return of the Living Dead. I'm your host, Troy, and joining me for this episode is the most iconic of movie zombies himself, Tarman.
Hey, I'm Allan Trautman. And that's me.
Exactly. Thank you for joining me again. You had graced me a couple of months ago, like I had mentioned before we actually started recording, that way back at the end of March, you gave me about a 40-minute time limit to record an interview, basically is what it turned out to be, which was fantastic. And then I started splicing those segments into upcoming Tarman episodes. Like the first one was actually 45, which released at the end of April, to give everyone the behind the scenes and all that sort of thing. We were recording this at the beginning of October. You'll be listening to this at the end of December and all that. But this is like I'd also just told Allan that I'd rather have his opening be an episode where he can do Tarman and all that sort of thing, however brief it actually is and all that sort of thing. But so what I've been asking is currently how is, because of the last time I spoke to you, you hadn't been on any yet, but how has the convention scene been for the 40th anniversary of the movie?
So far, so good. We did 3 conventions in a row in September.
Right.
I've got 2 more this month in October. There's a couple of more in November. I think there's one in December.
Wow.
So it's a very busy 40th anniversary year.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's always fun to meet up with the gang,
Yeah.
and hang
Yeah.
out.
So yeah, you said 3 in September. That would explain why my feed is suddenly filled with all these people going to conventions and having pictures with, it's kind of neat to see my different social medias like popping up with all the different actors from this movie showing up, and like, oh, that would explain.
Yeah.
There was like 3 weeks in a row, 3 like shows in September
That was
alone that you guys were
which
at.
was a first for me, doing 3 weekends in a row. That was
Wow.
kind of nuts.
Yeah. I believe a couple of weeks ago, at the time that we're recording, I actually saw Linnea Quigley in person. She was by herself in London, Ontario, at a convention so it was fantastic to meet her and all that sort of thing. And I gave her the spiel about the podcast, and she's all like, "Well, unfortunately, a little too busy because she's just moving all over the place." So, like I said, this is minute 60, and it's going to start with Freddy threatening to come up, and ends with a flailing headless Tarman. So up in the crawl space above the embalming room, Ernie and Tina take refuge amongst the bric-a-brac that usually populated a tiny attic. Stacks of paper and magazines, abandoned venting pieces, and it looks like a disassembled carriage. Ernie sits down with his hand on Tina's shoulder as the young woman has just stopped yelling at the trapdoor entrance, currently being held shut by a 2x4 jammed against it and the ceiling of the small area. Looking down at the blockade entrance, we hear Freddy's voice in a cruel, twisted voice trying to sound reasonable. He makes his intentions clear.
I'm coming up, Tina.
Tina cries her disapproval. After a brief pause, the wooden door bulges as if a strong force has slammed against it. If not for the secured wooden door stopping it, definitely would have flown open. The sudden movement causes Tina to shriek and slightly retreat. Ernie follows suit and shuffles himself back against, slightly impaired by his very broken ankle. As Ernie positions himself behind the pleading Tina, Freddy continues his assault upon the blockade. The door and 2x4 reacting to his forceful maneuvers. With his back against the wall, he pulls the terrified and still crying at Freddy, Tina, closer to him by wrapping his arm around her shoulders. Both are extremely sweaty, and Tina's hair matted to her face in places, her eye makeup a mess. She clutches onto Ernie's arm as some sort of support, still crying in protest of Freddy's advancement. Ernie's eyes transfixed upon the hopefully secured door. There's a flourish of sounds coming from Freddy's area, and after Tina calls out his name, crying once again, Freddy! Freddy then relays, rather calmly, the incident that just occurred.
See? And now you made me hurt myself again.
We see Ernie's hand shakily hover over his familiar sidearm that's laying atop a pile of magazines to the left of him. As he grips it and raises it, downstairs Freddy gives a grotesque update to his situation.
You made me break my hand completely off this time, Tina.
Which makes Tina huff through some crying. Freddy confesses his no longer need for the newly lost appendages because of his strong feelings for her and her delicious gray matter.
But I don't care, darling, because I love you. And you've got to let me eat your
While this is happening, Ernie's right hand supportively cups Tina's cheek as his other brings his firearm to shakily point it towards the back of the hysterical crying young woman. And while Ernie struggles with what should happen next, Freddy wails away at the door. Meanwhile, back at You Need a Medical Supply, the prying portion of a hammer pulls out a long nail from its secure position through a plank of wood. Spider pulls away the last barrier of the doorway to the cellar of the warehouse. He jumps back, discarding the newly removed wood, to the small pile of other boards. His eyes fixed on the door, just in case. Beside him stands a ready-for-action Chuck, a hammer clutched in his hands like a bat. Beside him is a cowering Casey, taking position to have at the very least Chuck between her and the door. She clutches a hammer in her own hands, but also finds herself clutching onto Chuck's arm. Aside from them stands Bert, the Unida owner, in the stance worthy of the wooden baseball bat that he's wielding, standing directly in the path of the creature that's playing at the door handle. After putting down the hammer, Spider retrieves his long mallet from his belt and holds it to the ready. He and Bert glance at each other, and Bert loudly whispers his instructions.
Open the goddamn door.
Slowly, cautiously, Spider steps his way to the black door, his hand tentatively reaching for the rattling doorknob. With a quick twist, the door opens as the creature behind it slams his hand against it. The door flies fully open, sending Spider sprawling backwards. Casey gasps as Chuck cocks his arm. The white interior of the door is smeared with a dark ooze from the ghoul that it's swaying its fluid-like frame forward. Its sight set on the older gentleman before him as it bellows out its food source. The walls of the area where the steps go down mirror the oily look of the door. Bert's right leg shaking, not from fear. However, it's possibly a big factor, but as his body tenses up for what is about to happen. As the monster's shoulders and hips seem to move independently of each other, it shuffles forward. Tendrils of flesh and clothing dangle from its swaying arms. Its unearthly, thin structure, a horrifying scene. Clutching his teeth and taking a step forward, Bert pulls back with the bat, lets it fly at its target. The follow-through impacts precisely upon the monster's temple, which, with such force that the entire head comes completely rocketing towards a jumping back Chuck and Casey, the latter of which screeches. The now headless corpse stumbles backwards and twists around, slamming its frame into the door. Stepping forward to assist in the control of the ghoul is Chuck. And that's where we end our minute. But yeah, so that's what we got. And of course... sadly, you are only in maybe a 7-second sequence in here and all that sort of
That's
thing.
okay. I just want
Um,
to. What struck me when I watched the
mhm.
footage was how Ernie grabs Tina and puts her in front of him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
like that's like, wait
yeah.
a second.
Yeah.
Not a
I'm not
great
gonna
job
be,
of
yeah,
protecting her there.
exactly. I'm gonna sneak behind you and then pull you in front of me like a shield. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. To begin with, how like so I take it in this movie you basically worked with almost the entire cast except for Tom Matthews, Tom Matthews, Don Calfa, and James Karen, right? Because technically you interact with all the punks in the basement sequence and all that, and now here
Right.
you're confronted by Clu Gallagher. But I guess you didn't work with the other three actors at all, did you?
No. No,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah,
It would have been just well, except I mean, we were yeah, no, you're right. Even in the first scene in the basement, they weren't
yeah.
involved. So
Exactly. Yeah. All the same sets, but different people in the scenes and all that sort of
yeah,
thing. So
unless you count the hidden scene in which I actually come out of the canister and step over the bodies of Burton.
which is something that I've heard about, but not yet been able to find if it actually is out there.
No,
So
it's not out there. It's just
yeah.
it's something people have asked me about.
Oh, I got
Say,
you.
hey,
I
why
got
didn't
you. I
he eat
got you.
them when he got out of the canister? They were lying right there.
But they were already poisoned by the trioxin, so they were already dead to begin with. So their brains weren't right because they've been poisoned by the
Yeah,
trioxin, so their brains were
that's what I
well. That's the
said.
reason. That's also the reason why Yellow Man charges at Bert because Frank and Freddy have already been affected by the trioxin, so they're no longer a viable food source. So he go. That's why he goes right for Bert.
Yeah.
But some people just
Anyway,
don't think that far into it. So again,
those are the
how
healthy ones.
yeah, those are exactly. So how big of a difference between shooting was your basically your basement sequence where you're introduced to this scene in the on the warehouse floor? Like,
Oh,
do you
well,
remember how much time was
thankfully,
between?
yeah, thankfully this the this second one was quick.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course, yeah.
That was like a half a day work right there, and just like one morning.
Oh, okay.
And because it's essentially one shot.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's just a one shot where I come out. I have to, now that I'm thinking of it, I can't remember if there's a cut in there before he hits the head. But
Well, there's definitely a visible cut to a obviously a replacement, a
yeah,
stand-in for you. Obviously,
right,
an actor who is either slightly shorter than you with a more built-up headpiece and all that sort of thing. I take it
exactly.
it's for stunt reasons why you didn't. Well, I guess also you being taller would be kind of you'd
Well,
have to
yeah,
make Tarman even taller for your head to be disappeared.
they wanted to see the head being knocked
For
off, so
sure, for sure,
obviously
for sure.
my
Yeah.
head couldn't be in there.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
they lined up the shot, and Clue. We rehearsed him taking the swing, and he
Right.
was really swinging away there.
His
Um,
face totally looks like it. Oh my God. He looks like
yeah,
he's ready to
yeah.
actually remove your head and all that sort of thing.
But from that angle, you can't
Yeah.
tell that there's some distance between us.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah.
But then, he swings, they'll cut, and once they're happy with that, I don't know how many of those we did, probably just a couple. It's a pretty simple scene. I went back to the dressing room and got out of the suit and handed it over to the next guy,
Okay.
which I'd been in that suit for I don't know how many days, five, ten
Right.
days. And at this point, it was pretty ripe. But
I'm
it's
sure
like
it would have been. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Here you go. And he
Okay,
climbed into it.
so I take it it was what was his name? I have his name written down here somewhere. I'm
Oh, do
pretty
you?
sure. Yes. Uh Robert Bonnet. Robert Bennett is the man
Robert.
who's credited as Headless Tarman. So I take
Oh,
it
okay.
he was obviously shorter than you, but I guess if it's
Yeah,
the
he
exact
was
same
about
outfit,
as tall as my neck. I'm
perfect then.
literally a head taller than him.
Taller than.
That's how they figured it out.
Excellent. Okay,
And then
okay.
of course they had a stunt head that they just
Yes. Yeah,
attached
yeah,
at the
yeah,
top
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And it's not a perfect thing when you're short like that, when you're shorter than I am, to make it look like they had to build up the shoulders and stuff
Yeah.
things in there. But honestly, I did not stick around to watch.
Okay.
Once
So
I
that
was
was
out
going
of
to
that
be that
suit,
was yeah.
I was in the car and whistling a happy tune on the way home.
All right, all right. So yeah, so basically, like I was about to ask, you didn't give him any sort of like pointers of how would Tarman, because you are Tarman, how Tarman would move
No,
without his head and all that sort of thing. So
no, because at that point, he only takes over as the head comes off.
okay,
So at that point, it's like, whatever you want. It's up to him, really, him
right,
and the
right, right,
director,
right.
to figure out what would happen. But he flails around a little bit, but it's doesn't really explain how he kills him because
No,
they chopped
exactly.
up
Yeah,
that other guy into little tiny pieces and it was still moving
yeah,
around. So
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
you
So I'm
just sort
pretty
of
sure.
have
Yeah,
to
that
go with
head's
the
yeah the
flow.
head's still moving. That's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So over on the commentary track, which is again with a writer and director Dan O'Bannon and the production designer William Stout. William Stout starts off by mentioning that the addict was just a raised platform. Dan adds by saying he was concerned that in the dark you wouldn't be able to see the door jump, but was relieved that you could quite see it quite clearly. Then, when the shot of Ernie's gun comes up, Dan O'Bannon mentions that he wanted a Luger, but was only given a P38. He requested that they have a pearl handle put onto it, and then he calls out the mercy shot, which Ernie doesn't have to do. Dan O'Bannon also mentions how much fun it was making the sound of the nail coming out, how he had to use part of a nuclear explosion just to get the nail out. It's kind of neat because when you're listening to, like, when you're watching a movie 1 minute at
That's
a time and you have to repeat it
yeah.
over and over and over again, that nail being pulled out echoes into like three, it sounds like three nails being pulled out. It goes creak,
Oh, that's
creak, creak,
funny.
like as you listen to it. Is But if you have to keep looping through it and all that sort of thing, because you got to do information before it, information after, but you hear that
That's
creaking
crazy.
coming out for a while. It's kind of interesting to see that.
That's kind of crazy.
So both Dan and William express their joy for the reveal of Tarman and his head removal, laughing at the brains line and accenting the hit with a bam. So yeah, so they definitely. The nice thing about as the movie's going further into watching it, the commentary track, it's turning into more of Dan and William just watching the movie, and then remembering, oh right, we're supposed to be talking about the movie instead of just enjoying what's going on the screen, because they
Uh,
definitely have a lot more. Definitely say a lot more about enjoying what they're watching than giving out information at sometimes.
that's pretty funny.
All right. So, according to the script, which again is a story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon, we're dealing with a revision from 1983 of October, and this is based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. So I'm just going to start off with the beginning of the interior of the attic. While this scene starts just past the beginning, we're just going to read the whole entire thing just to
Hmm.
keep it all in
Okay.
all together and all that. So, interior attic of mortuary, night, rain. For some strange reason, the rain has not let up at all in the script version of the movie. Even the movie has been stopped for at least, well, I guess 10 minutes at this point. Movie time, that is.
Ah,
Tina and Ernie crouch in the dusty darkness of the crawl space. Suddenly, muffled comes from the sound of a voice. Freddy's voice from below. Tina! This is Freddy! Where are you? Tina gasps. Tina, face contorting with grief and horror. Oh God! Freddy's voice from below. Tina, it was wrong of you to lock me up. I had to hurt myself to get out. But I forgive you, Tina. And I know you're here because I can smell your brains. Tina moans and buries her face in Ernie's shoulder. Freddy's voice continued, I'm coming up, Tina. A pause, a scraping noise, and then the hatch rattles as Freddy tries to open it. Tina and Ernie freeze, staring at the hatch. Freddy's voice, just below the hatch. Tina, listen to me. We always meant so much to each other, so please open the hatch. It's wrong that you should keep me locked out like this. Crash. The blocked hatch shakes as something smashes against it from below. Tina and Ernie scuttle away from the hatch like crabs. Freddy's voice continued. See how you made me hurt myself again. In fact, you made me break my hand completely off this time. But I don't care, darling, because I love you, and you've got to let me eat your brains. Wham! Again, Freddy hurls himself against the hatch. Cut to interior warehouse. Night, rain. Meat has a claw hammer and is pulling the nails out of the door one by one. Bert is poised before the basement door with his baseball bat. Casey and Chuck have armed themselves with various types of blunt instruments and long poles. Finally, the last nail of the door. Meat leaps back. Nothing happens. The humans look at each other timely. Sweating, Meat advances forward, taking hold of the doorknob and yanks it open. And there stands the Tarman. Tarman. Brains! It charges straight out. Bert swings his bat. Smacko! The Tarman's head flies off. The body blunders about. Chuck, Casey, and Meat charge the body, knocking it over. And that catches us up with our particular minute of this podcast. Now, obviously, what I've mentioned several times before, the script changes two characters' names. In this particular minute, we had I was reading the lines of Meat. Obviously, turns out to be Spider. And anytime I had mentioned the name of Dee Dee, we're actually talking about Trash. So that was so the reason why I went into the extra details of what was being said in the script is because when we come to the workplace comparison, the full sequence of what Freddy says to Tina doesn't come across in the final part, but it does in our workplace comparison. So the work print is basically when you finish filming your whole entire movie and you compile it into one giant mass. You then take that and you edit out what you want and all that sort of thing. So for comparison, while we were dealing with minute 79 to 80, the actual work print is actually minute 97:42 to 99:10. So we got a little more of a minute than in this particular minute, which is one of my favorite things about going through this work print. Now, I'm as a longtime fan, I'm giving myself the extra treat by not watching the work print until I deal with the actual individual minute. So it's kind of neat to every single new minute. Well, not every single minute, but a lot of minutes have some extra footage or a different take and all that sort of thing, or like a completely rearranging of the sequence and all that, which is always nice to find and all that.
Yeah. It's also interesting how much longer it is because it's always a matter of cutting it down, making it shorter, tighter, getting rid of all the little unnecessary bits. And because this movie really does move pretty fast.
Oh, it totally does. It totally, which is also a thing that you don't get very often, especially a movie of this type at the time as well. I mean, you get into your schlock, you have to introduce all your characters and all their boring traits and all that sort of thing, and then you start picking them out one by one. But this movie, from pretty much the get-go, pretty much from the opening credits, like the opening 10, once Frank and Freddy come back, like regain consciousness after being knocked out by the trioxin, the movie swims through so nicely. I mean, it also goes because you have a cast that works so well together. Everything, all the scenes flow so nicely and all that sort of thing. So it's also, So to begin with the work print, to begin with, in this version, Freddy's speech is more to the script than what is in the final version. The work print doesn't have the cutaway to Ernie's gun. So once he and Tina are in the corner, he already is brandishing the gun. Also, Don Calfa does a lot more looking around, so this is obviously a different take that they shot for the work print. They obviously did a reshoot for the sequence later. Also note that the shot of just the door with the 2x4 also isn't there as well. Obviously,
Hmm.
something they used as a pickup.
It's an yeah, it's an
Yeah,
insert.
yeah, yeah. And the shot of Ernie pointing his gun at Tina lasts longer as the barrel practically touches the back of her head in this particular sequence.
Ooh,
The Tar Man plays out the exact same. The only thing missing is obviously we don't hear the voice of Brains being said by Tar Man because that's a voiceover that comes in later on.
it's a post thing,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
post thing. Yes, yeah. All right. So that's all that I have to say about this particular minute. Any sort of thing that you want to add to your experience of being Tarman
Um,
during the filming and all that sort of thing that you might want to
well,
re?
just another shout out to the editor on this because the way um, Tarman's first scene was edited, I thought really helped to sell the movement that I
Mm,
was doing. Because if you stay on it too long, you begin to see the flaws. You begin to see
exactly.
the
Yeah, yeah,
flaws
yeah,
in the
yeah.
costume. You begin to
Hmm.
notice patterns in the movement. But the way it was edited was, I thought, really uh, brilliant because it was just enough to creep you out, but not
Yeah.
enough to get a handle on it so that you could
Hmm.
tell, oh, it's a guy in a suit, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So it showed a lot of restraint, a lot of skill, and kudos to the editor on that.
Again, that's it's another reason why the character itself of Tarman is so iconic because it
Hmm.
doesn't look like a suit. It looks like it's a creature. It looks like it's something built from the ground up or conjured from somebody's nightmares and all that sort of thing. How, and again, that also goes credit to you by your movements being so fluid as they were and all that sort of thing, giving it, like I described, an unearthly movement to it and all that sort of thing. I
Yeah.
mean,
It also points out how every actor's film performance is really at the mercy of the editor.
that is true.
You
That
know,
is true.
unless you
Yes.
let a
Yeah.
scene play out in one take,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're at the mercy of the editor. I remember in another really great example of editing was in Dr. Dolittle film that I did.
Right.
And I puppeteered the Lucky the dog, and there's a sequence on where where Lucky is taken to the vet,
Okay.
and the whole sequence where Lucky's on the table was shot both ways with the puppet and with the live dog,
Oh,
and it was edited together
okay.
so beautifully so that unless you really look at it and you know what you're looking for, you can't really tell which is which. And all it does is and what it does is create a full character out of these two separate things. So very, very skillfully done there too.
I take it this is the Eddie Murphy one, right? And all that sort of thing.
Yeah, what was it,
Yeah, yeah, with
98 or something,
yeah, and it would
99?
be I guess it would be Norm Macdonald was doing the voice was
Yeah,
providing the voice of Lucky the dog, right? Because that's
of
the main
Lucky,
character,
yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Now I take it you didn't have the interaction like you did with Floppy and Bobcat Goldthwait and all that sort of thing. No, sorry, not Floppy. Oh my God, I've just messed up
Yeah.
the name of. Yes, it's Floppy on
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Mr.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Floppy
Yeah,
from
Mr. Floppy.
Unhappily
Okay.
Ever After.
I doubted myself. As soon as the words came out, I'm like,
No,
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 it's not
no.
Floppy. Yes. But I take it you didn't have the interaction that you did
Oh,
with Bobcat Goldthwait,
no.
obviously. And
No,
I'm
all
pretty
of those
sure.
voices were pre-recorded. Um, and then we were able to add some additional dialogue if there was some late additions or they get an
Gotcha.
idea for a funny line. We could always add things on the spot,
Right.
and then they would be ADR'd afterwards. But for
Gotcha.
the most
Gotcha.
part, it was done with pre-recorded dialogue
Gotcha.
on
Okay.
the part of
Okay.
the
That would
animals.
make a lot more sense. Yeah, I guess. All right. Well, thank you for this, Alan. I really appreciate you giving me this time and all that sort of thing.
My
Um,
pleasure.
like I pointed out earlier, Alan, quite a few months ago, had given me an interview and all that sort of thing, which I had broken into three parts. And originally, the third part was going to be with this particular episode, but because I was able to get Alan to come in and talk about this particular minute in person, stay tuned to after the credits, where I will have the rest of that whole entire thing. We just go into more about talking about Alan's career and what he's been doing recently. I don't think we talk about any convention stuff because, but we're just talking acting and whatnot, sort of thing that went on back then. Again, I apologize to you for not having listened to it more recently because I'm not 100%
No,
sure
that's
what
all
we
right.
actually talked about, but it will be at the end of this particular episode, so it'll be a bit of a
Hope,
surprise to everyone.
hopefully, I didn't. Don't say anything embarrassing.
I'm pretty sure you did not. If anything was said embarrassing, it was probably coming out of my mouth. So, all right. So again, I really appreciate you for coming in and helping me out with this project
Sure
and all that
thing.
sort of thing. It's been really fun. I'm going to tell you now because again, we're talking beginning of October. I want you to have fun at the next couple of conventions that you're going to and all that sort of thing, especially the
Thanks.
October ones. Those will be fantastic. Um, and as the audience is listening to this at the end of December, well, I hope you had a fantastic year of doing conventions and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, it will have been wonderful.
Exactly, exactly. All right. So, thank you, Alan. I also want to thank the audience for joining me for this career. We're come this train ride is all that sort of thing. Again, we're at minute 80. We have like 11 episodes to go until the very end. We're going to be
Oh
doing this
boy.
until the beginning of February and all that sort of thing. So I hope everyone still stays tuned as the movie starts to wrap up with a spectacular ending. And once again, thank you, Alan. Thank you, audience. And I got nothing else to say except see you next Wednesday.
All right, take care.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want to Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
I like
Hi,
those
how you doing?
masks up on your. I like the masks on your wall.
Yeah, they're my Spirit Halloween collection over the past couple of years and all that sort of thing. That that 50% off sale works really well some years.
Those are great. That's the was it the haunted house?
Yeah, we got the Hitchhiking
Haunted
Ghosts.
mansion,
Yep, yep. We got Oogie Boogie's boys, and we got a
right?
Jack, and we got these guys here. This guy here and this guy here are like the snarling ones. So when you lower your jaw, like the lips curl and all that sort of
Oh,
thing. So
cool.
yeah, so yeah. And
Nice.
then that this guy's just like a screaming skull that I've had since I was like probably a teenager and all that sort of thing. Just been traveling with me my whole entire life. All right, excellent. That was fantastic. Again, I wanted to make sure that I got through the minute and all that sort of thing. And like I said, adding an extra like 10, 15 minutes at the end of it, all that sort of thing. So I'm still gonna have like about a 50-minute episode and all that, which is
Oh, that's
fantastic and
great.
all that sort of thing. So
Yeah. Oh,
again,
good. Good.
I want to thank you for this. All right, I'm gonna let you go, Alan. Again, thank you for this.
All
Enjoy
right.
your I guess your Halloween season and all that sort of thing. And
There you are. We're here
hopefully
now.
I will talk to you in the near future.
All right.
All
Take care,
right,
Troy.
thanks once
Thanks a lot.
again. Thanks.
Mhm.
Okay,
Bye.
let's say bye-bye now.
All right, listeners. So what you're about to listen to is, instead of, like I had mentioned in the actual episode itself, the segment that has yet to have been aired, I've decided to put the entire
interview that I had with Alan quite a few months ago at the end of this whole entire thing. So you'll be able to get the entire display of what he and I talked about over the short 30 to 40-minute interview time that he had for me. So please enjoy. I just want you to know that I really, really do appreciate, and this is like fantastic. So
Oh, no problem.
all right, so I'm just going to begin with when someone does a show like what I'm doing, the m movies by minute, you obviously are going to go into the cast because you want to have some more information when someone pops up on the screen for the first time and all that sort of thing. So obviously I did that. It's a very big cast, which is a great thing for that sort of thing. But when I came across your profile on IMDb, because might as well, it's the easiest place to go and all that.
Sure.
I was surprised to find out how much work you've done in the puppetry world, which is fantastic. And you've worked with like you through Jim Henson Studios and stuff like that. And I also realized that you did also like Sid and Marty Krofft stuff.
Yeah.
So, before like for schooling or even before that, what was your influence? Like, did you always want to do puppetry? Did you always want to do acting, or what got you into those realms?
I was like a theater nerd in high school.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So that's where it really started. Somewhere in school, I remember there was a teacher once. I must have been in grade school somewhere where we did some kind of
Hmm.
little play thing in
Yeah, yeah.
class, and the teacher said, "You should really do this." But at some point, I got into doing theater in high school,
Okay.
and that was all they wrote. So. In college, I sort of was thinking more about going into science and
Okay.
majored in
Yeah.
physics, but I also studied acting. But once I got my undergraduate degree, then I decided I wanted to go all out for acting, and so that's when I went to Cal Arts out here
Right. Yes. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Valencia.
Hmm.
Um, but while I was at Washington University, which was my undergraduate school,
Right.
and once I was thinking I really wanted to go into acting as a profession, I
Hmm.
started looking for auditions. And I just happened to find an audition in town for a TV series that was for puppets, a children's
Right.
TV
Yes.
series
Yes. Okay.
called The Letter People, that
Hmm.
they were willing to train actors who could do voices to do puppets.
Oh, okay.
So we did 60 15-minute episodes of this
Yeah, I
series.
read that. I read that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
while I was in college.
Hmm.
And so it was all just learning on the job for me.
Really? Oh,
Uh,
so like prior to that, no puppet interests or anything. You just happened acting job and like, hey, we
no,
can do puppets.
a lot of people, they're like Jim Henson, they were, cutting up their
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
coats to
yeah.
make puppets and things at an early age. But I never did that.
Wow.
The when I went in for that audition,
Hmm.
I think it was probably the first time I had a puppet on my hand ever.
Wow.
But it seemed to go well, and I
Yeah,
just
no,
sort of
obviously, yeah.
discovered that it was something I kind of got, and I just
Hmm.
had a natural affinity
Understanding, yeah.
toward it. And so um, after that, I sort of all through the 80s, I had this dual track of
Right.
pursuing acting
Hmm.
as well as puppetry work.
Yeah, as you can see through your IMDb, yes, you're literally back and forth, and
Yeah,
sometimes even particular projects that you got to do both. Like, I was surprised to see that you puppeted Mr. Floppy
yeah,
on Happily Ever After.
yeah.
I mean, I did watch the show, but obviously back then I don't think I would have recognized your face, sort of
Oh,
thing, until like much later on. But you were in
sure.
several episodes as yourself.
I
Well,
know.
as a character, as an
They were really
actor, yeah.
great about that.
Yeah, no, that's
Usually, first of
fantastic.
all, on a series,
Hmm.
if you come in as a guest,
Yeah.
it's like that's it. You can only do that one character,
Exactly,
in the
exactly. Yeah.
universe of the thing.
Hmm.
And I did play a vice principal at the kids' school
Hmm.
a
I
couple of
believe it was
times.
Mr. Sorry, Mr. Dunn, I think was the character's name.
Mr. Dunn, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I played him a few times, I don't know,
Hmm.
2 or 3 times.
Right.
But they also brought me in a couple of extra times as these other weird characters.
All
And
right.
it was like, they were so sweet about it. They
Nice.
didn't have to do
Nice.
that. They could have hired an actor,
True. Yeah.
I mean, another actor.
Yeah. No, I see. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But they were really nice about that.
That's fantastic.
And I
And
really appreciated it.
yeah, no, that's a great experience too. So like just on floppy for just a little while now. Would you do the voice of Floppy as well, and then they overdub Bobcat Goldthwait later, or was he there at the same time and all
He
that?
was
Or
there.
oh, really?
Yeah,
So basically, the two of you work together to. Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay,
because that show is taped in front of a live audience.
that's true too. Yes, I guess. Yes, I guess that would have. Yeah.
So for the if I were doing the voice, the audience would be like, "What's going on? That's
Yeah.
not
Okay. Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Floppy's voice."
Right.
Plus, you want to be able to, we do two tapings in front of an audience, and
Okay.
so there are notes, there are line changes, there are
Obviously.
things that
Yes. Yes.
happen right
Right.
at the end.
Right.
And so uh, Bobcat would come in. We taped on Fridays, and he would just
Hmm.
come in Friday. Uh,
Okay.
so I worked, 4 or 5 days a week,
Hmm.
and I would do all the blocking
Gotcha.
and throw in my ideas, and it
Hmm.
was all very collaborative and really
Right.
wonderful.
Hmm.
And I would do the camera blocking on Thursdays.
Okay.
Then Bobcat would come in and he would watch, with the two of us would sit down and start out the day by just watching the camera rehearsal. And
Oh,
so
okay.
he
Okay.
would take notes, and if I had come up with a good idea, he said, "Great, let's keep that." He was very collaborative.
Excellent.
And then he
Nice.
would have his own ideas, and
Of
he
course.
would
Yeah.
pitch things to the producers
Right,
sometimes.
right.
And then we literally just performed it simultaneously. He wasn't visible to the audience,
No. Yeah, 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 yeah.
but he was positioned where he could hear the audience. He was very close to the audience, right
Okay.
behind a curtain.
All right.
So they didn't know he was there, but he could hear their reactions. And
Right.
because when you're performing in front of a live audience, you have to be able to hold for laughs.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And so after just a couple of episodes, we were able to hold the exact same time and know when to come in. And
That's great. Yeah, because of course, yeah, because if you guys weren't, because you would obviously be in on the stage sort of thing performing, and he'd be off the stage. So,
yeah, I
wow,
didn't see him.
that seems like an amazing like magic trick that the two of you like. Wow.
It was really great.
Oh, that's so cool.
It wasn't that I adapted to his voice or he adapted to my movements, but we
Hmm.
both sort of converged on the character
Wow.
simultaneously.
Wow,
Uh,
that's fascinating. That's
it was
so
really
cool.
cool.
Nice, nice. All
Yeah.
right, cool. Yeah, so obviously then from what I've ascertained from your IMDb, um, Tarman is pretty much your first acting role, I guess.
In a movie, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
had done just little tiny walk-on things. I think I was in,
Gotcha.
what was that? Van Nuys Boulevard, like a cruising
Okay.
movie from the
Okay.
80s.
All right. All
Comedy,
right.
just a silly guy. And there's one scene where they go to the hospital, and I was like a glorified extra. They didn't want me to say any lines because
Of
if you didn't
course.
say
Of
any
course.
lines, they don't have to pay
They
you
didn't
as
have to
much.
pay you as much. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And I was just this guy who at the emergency room had a bowling ball stuck in his finger.
Nice.
So that was it. It was all just reactions.
Gotcha.
In any event, yes, that was like the first legitimate movie role I had,
Wow.
which, let's face it, it's a very unusual thing.
For sure.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it could have, if there were more roles like that, the kind of thing that Doug Jones does,
Hmm. Hmm.
now with Guillermo del
Yeah,
Toro,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that kind of volume of work, there just wasn't that much of that kind of
No.
work
Yeah, yeah.
happening. back in the 80s, you know.
Right. Also, I don't even think people were even thinking that it was possible to do that sort of stuff. And I mean, that's another reason why Tarman is such a groundbreaking character because of your physicality in that costume and the portrayal of it is just iconic. Because
Yeah, thanks.
it would take decades for even, I mean, sure, we had Bob from Dawn of the Dead, the army guy zombie that was sort of made his personality come through. But other than that, Tarman is the standout of zombies for the longest time, which is
Thanks.
fantastic. So, could you go into a little bit of how you came about getting the role of Tarman? I mean, it'd be silly for me to have a podcast about this movie and not ask you questions
Oh,
about
sure.
Tarman. So,
It was like any other acting audition, you know, and it was the same for, well, not well, yeah. Initially, it was the same for all of us,
mhm.
and it was the same as any other
Okay.
job I auditioned for.
Right, right.
They sent me the sides, which are just the pages that I would
Yeah.
be
Yeah, yeah.
auditioning with, and you audition for a casting director
Right.
first, and they put you on tape, the big old VHS tape,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it was, it wasn't a lot of dialogue.
No, definitely
But
not. No.
I just did what I thought made sense in
Okay.
the context of the scene,
Right.
and I got called back for read for
Mm-hmm.
Dan O'Bannon, the
Mm-hmm.
director, and I imagine there were a couple of producers there. I don't really remember too much about that.
Right.
It's 40 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast today. But And I remember Dan, really the only direction he gave me in the audition was that he wanted to see me thinking. He wanted, he didn't want
Okay.
dumb zombies,
Right. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Okay.
And so I was doing the whole scene with the winch, and chasing it
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
and trying to figure out, all of this, the mechanics of it. So he just wanted to see the thinking process. Now, by this point, I had worked a number of times. I had established career as a puppeteer,
Right.
well as an actor, established. I was working as
Yes.
much as
Yeah.
I could as a
Right.
puppeteer, and that's what we do as a puppeteer is try and make these inanimate objects
Oh,
think and
that's true.
feel,
Yeah. Of
you know.
course. Yeah.
So I kind of had a feel for, I mean, because that's what Tarman is essentially. It's a
Mm-hmm.
full body puppet.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I kind of understood instinctually that you can't just act normally. You have to think of kind of manipulating the suit,
Mm-hmm.
not just, but you have to sort of be all present. So it's acting plus,
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people think it's like acting less, but it's not.
Oh
It's
no, no,
acting
definitely.
plus.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that may have made the difference for me. I have no idea, obviously, who else they they saw for the role,
Right.
what specifically they saw in me that they liked.
Mm-hmm.
But other than the fact that I was 6'2" and 155
I was about
pounds,
to say, yeah, tall, skinny guy, right? Yeah. So
exactly,
you
that
weren't
I fit
like
in the suit.
yeah, you weren't in a room with a bunch of other tall, skinny guys sitting around waiting for your turn to audition or that?
I probably was, but I don't recall.
Gotcha.
I'm
Gotcha.
used to
Okay.
walking into an audition and thinking, "Oh my God, everybody looks like me." Although usually for me, because I have a pretty unusual look, the call goes out not for a specific type, but for but unusual look, a
Ah,
unique look.
yes, of
So
course.
I walk into
Right.
the room and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's like a freak show in here." Is this how they see me? Oh, geez.
All right. So, once you got the role of Tarman, now I take it they built. Now, was the costume pre-built and you just happened to no, so they built it right off of you and all that sort of thing. So
Bill
that was
Munn's
okay, good.
literally built it on me.
Yes, yeah, okay.
I mean, he had some stuff ready to go,
Hmm.
but he didn't use like they didn't do a body cast.
Okay.
Didn't use like a mannequin that was
Right.
dress mannequin that was adjusted to my size. I just remember standing there, and it was the base was just a leotard, top to
Okay.
bottom,
Right, right.
and he was literally gluing the pieces on,
Ah, I
assembling
see.
it,
I
and
see.
sort of
Gotcha.
figuring out which, he had created all of these foam rubber drips
Hmm.
individually, and he just sort of placed them all on my body one
Okay.
at a
Okay.
time, like shingles on a roof,
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right.
starting at the bottom, working up.
Working way up, right? Layer of over layer. Okay, cool, cool,
Exactly.
cool. And how long did that process usually take? Like, obviously, I'm sure for however long you were on
Well,
doing the costume.
that
I
was just a
mean,
one-time thing.
oh,
He was
really?
assembling the whole thing and gluing
Okay,
it onto the leotard, and then
right.
later I just take
Oh
leotard
no,
off,
but yeah, I
put the
understand.
leotard.
Right. I guess then, yeah,
Yeah,
because if it's attached to the leotard, you just zip yourself in and out of it, sort of thing. And
yeah,
yeah,
and it was the
right.
same thing
Okay.
with the head,
With the head,
because
yeah,
it wasn't prosthetics that I had to sit in a chair while they
yeah,
glued
yeah.
stuff
It's
on me.
like a
It
helmet
was
almost, right?
like a Darth
Yeah.
Vader helmet,
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. So I guess the process would have been pretty simple then, especially for what they do nowadays, sort of
Yeah,
to, oh,
yeah, it was
that's
a top.
fantastic.
It was very old school kind of. It was a top,
Nice.
a bottom, shoes, gloves, and
Mm-hmm.
the head.
Okay. Okay.
And then, of course, they had to glue down. The head had pieces hanging off of it, and
Yeah.
they glued those down so I
Right.
was pretty sealed in pretty tight there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So like what was like how long were you basically working on the movie? Like I'm pretty sure they probably would have shot all your stuff pretty much all at the same time, or did they do it
Pretty
in
much.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I worked more than over a 2 week span.
Okay. Okay.
Probably no more than 10 days. Yeah.
Right.
Week and a half. I don't really
Right.
remember.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're in like basically two locations. You're in the basement scene and you're in the just
right.
inside the warehouse scene up the top of the stairs,
Right.
which
And the shooting for all of that went pretty fast.
yeah, from what I figured out from my research, it's like, wow, this is pretty well. Now, were you involved with the like the rehearsals sequences and all that before and all that? Okay, so you were just gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, he
Okay.
wanted to rehearse the main characters to get them
Right. Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
sync. And
I
plus, it was
guess I
his
guess they
first
probably wanted
time
to leave
directing.
you as more of a surprise,
Well,
sort of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really preferred that, especially when Tina discovers
Mm-hmm.
me, he was
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep it so that it was a real reaction. It's
Right.
kind of hard to do because you can only do that once.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. That's true
But
too.
but for the most part, people just kind of kept their distance from me anyway.
I can see from some of
Once I
the
had the suit on, it was
yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
is there somebody in there?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to go over there and talk to that thing.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of behind the scenes pictures and they're like, people seem to clear away from you and all that sort of thing. Like people obviously like stagehands and all that sort of thing working on you or something like that, a little bit of touch up with makeup and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, so after so when did what was the Sid and Marty Croft thing that you were involved with? Like I saw that and I'm like, oh, I'm a kid from the 70s. I was born in 71. So I was very young when that sort of stuff was still on TV and all that sort of thing. So when I saw Sid and Marty Croft, I'm like, oh, I've got to find out what this is all about. So
Yeah.
what is it was some sort of like lessons or teach or like a school of some sort?
Well, they felt that this was 1980,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they were thinking, I believe at the time, that they were going to have a number of projects coming down the pike,
Ah.
that would involve more sort of Muppet style work,
Oh, okay.
as opposed to the
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 big
big
giant suits and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the stuff
Yeah.
that we're doing on Puff and Stuff and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
were getting more into, so
Ah.
they needed to get a crop of puppeteers together. They
Okay.
wanted to. And again, at the time, there were not that many ways to other than on the job of learning how to do that. There weren't a lot of
Right.
people teaching sort of the
Hmm.
Henson Muppet technique, other than Henson,
Right, right.
you
Yeah.
know. Um, and so they started their own school, basically. It
Okay.
wasn't really a school. It was like a summer-long 8 week, I think it was 8 weeks,
Hmm.
one night a week,
Okay.
they rented a place out by Burbank Airport.
Okay.
Um, and they just did a bunch of stuff, and it was really quite well thought out. They brought in somebody to teach improv one night.
Okay.
They brought in people for music, songs,
Okay.
uh, singing, voice work,
Oh,
all sorts of stuff. And
nice.
but it was all mostly about getting experience
Right.
with the monitor, which
Right, of course, of course.
for
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who
yeah,
have
yeah.
not been puppeteers before, that's the big thing.
Right, right, right.
We always use a monitor. It's a and it's backwards,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
because the camera faces this way,
This
but
way,
you
and you're
face that
looking that. Yeah,
way.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
everything's backwards. You
You
go this
turn, you
way and
turn
it goes.
left, the character turns right, sort of thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a lot of that is just sort of
Hmm.
spending time. You have to just sort of create those ruts in your brain so it
Right.
works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so they did that, and by the end of it, and that was how there were a number of puppeteers who got their start that way,
Okay.
who turned out, to have long careers
Yeah.
in LA.
I could totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was part of that, although I had been working a little bit before then, but in fact, when I first found out about it, I was like, well, I've already worked as a puppeteer. I had only done the thing in college,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
the letter people.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And after that, I was thinking, well, I'm just going to do acting now. But I figured, well, I'm not doing anything else. Maybe if I shake this tree, something will fall out.
Right, right.
So I decided to do this, and thank God I did because that got me plugged into the whole LA puppeteering world.
Nice. Okay.
So I did a number of shows or specials,
Hmm.
various things that they did. There was a series called Pryor's Place that Richard
Which
Pryor
you're okay, okay. Yeah,
created,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where he filmed some wraparounds. It was mostly about him as a child.
Oh, I see.
Uh,
Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah, and there were segments that included puppets, a bunch of
Puppets. Gotcha. Okay.
breads in the bakery that talked to each other for some reason. And there were two rats in the sewer that were like the honeymooners, and
All right.
I did the male rat in that.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was that was the first series I worked on in LA anyway.
Oh,
And then they did what else did I work on? There was, oh yeah, they did a series with Oral Roberts of all things. The
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was very unusual. Where I think I was just doing the dog. It was just this dog who
okay.
panted a lot, so I didn't have any dialogue. But there was like this family who always had some kind of a problem, and Oral Roberts would come in and talk to them and minister somehow and solve their problems. And
I
it
guess I
was,
can sort of see that, but yeah.
I can't, I haven't seen it since there. I can only imagine what it's like.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
imagine it's held up well. I'll
No,
put it.
probably not. Probably not. Wow.
Um, so yeah, I did a bunch of work for them in the 80s, and that's what got me started as on my for real on my puppetry track.
Wow.
So then all through the 80s, I was looking for puppetry work. I was looking for
Hmm.
acting work. I was
Yeah.
doing commercials as an actor. I was doing
Hmm.
some TV as an actor. I got Tarman as an actor,
Right, right.
did other stuff.
Excellent. All right.
Mhm.
So just a quick, well, it's not the movie I'm dealing with. Did they just like when they were starting part two of Return of the Living Dead? Did they like go to you directly and say, "Hey, we want you in this," or did someone like, "Hey, we want to do this. Do you want to come back as Tarman," sort of thing? Or
Well, yeah, I got a call. They
okay,
said we're doing a sequel,
right,
and there's going to be another Tar Man.
which makes total
So,
sense.
yeah. So they invited me back. At first, they said that it was going to be done non-union, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh, no, thanks. I'm not
yeah,
getting in that
yeah,
suit for unless it's a SAG deal.
yeah,
By that point, I was in SAG.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing. I got to do some commercials through my connections with the people who ran the Tony Urbano ran the
Okay.
puppet school,
Mm-hmm.
the Croft
Right,
brothers
right, right. Yeah.
school. And at that time, he was doing all of the commercials for like the McDonald's Happy Meals with the
Yeah, yeah,
singing,
yeah. With the
uh,
nuggets and all that sort of
all the
thing.
nuggets singing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was doing he had that whole account, and they were
Wow.
turning these things out.
Yeah, there was especially in the 80s. Holy cow, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did a couple of those. And that's, I think, where I earned my SAG card. They did a couple for United Air Express. The airline United was like
Mm-hmm.
touting their package shipping line
Okay. All right.
business. So we were a bunch of boxes that talked. So it got me, that's how I got my start. Once I did that, I was like, no looking back. So I
Yeah.
said no to Tarman, but then
Right.
they called me back and they said, okay, we'll give you a SAG contract. Uh, so I worked one night on that.
Yeah, because it's not a very involved. It's more of a basically it's a glorified cameo for that
Cameo. It's a
movie.
cameo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
I
worked
mean,
one
but
night. We
still,
did one take, and that was it.
because you're an expert at this, right?
No coverage.
Oh,
Well, I
really?
guess there
Like,
was some shots. I'm sorry, there were shots up in the top there
okay.
where I came out of the tunnel,
Yeah.
but there was one take of the fall. That's what it was, and that was it for the
All
night.
right. Stunt work too, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So, then the next big thing on your list is you got involved with Jim Henson Studios, and I believe the thing was the 3D ride at Disney that they were putting together, the 3D movie and whatnot and all that. So,
Yeah, Muppet Vision 3D.
now was that through like an audition, or did someone say, "Hey, I know a guy," sort of thing, or
A little of both.
okay,
Henson hadn't been doing that much work in LA before
mm-hmm,
this.
yeah,
Most of their work was in London
London
and
and all that, yeah,
yeah. But this was being done in cooperation with Disney
mm-hmm.
in anticipation.
Invasion of them purchasing, yes, yes, exactly,
Right.
yes, yeah,
This is the deal that eventually fell through when Jim passed away.
yeah.
But and then later
Hmm.
was, you know, uh, brought back to life. But so the Muppet Vision 3D had a big
Right.
finale.
Hmm.
They needed 25 puppeteers.
Oh, I see. I got you. Yes. Yeah.
So they're not going to fly in 25 puppeteers to do essentially background work and
They got,
writing.
yeah, they got local guys to,
Right. So
gotcha.
they're going to
Okay.
audition locally and
Hmm.
find some, and they knew that they could do it. So I had a friend from who I met at the school,
Okay.
the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Croft School,
Hmm.
whose wife was doing the choreography for the Muppet characters, the walk-around characters at Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
They
Okay.
were already integrated into a show there.
Hmm.
So they put out the word that they were looking for puppeteers. So he called me and said, "Hey, did you want to audition for this? I can put your name in." I'm going, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
So it was a very simple audition. They were just looking for people who they could trust to work with a monitor. And
Hmm.
we just went in and did a little bit of dialogue one at a time. And I remember this very distinctly. Jim sitting at the table with everybody else, and
Wow.
Frank.
Hmm.
And that was it. It was just a quick audition. They just wanted to make sure you could operate a puppet, basically.
Understandable. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got hired on that. I believe they shot for a week for that final sequence.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
It's 5 days down at the Disney, on one of their sound stages. And uh, yeah, so that's where that was the first time I got to work with Jim.
Wow. That's
First and only
wow.
time, because he
Yeah,
passed
because it
away
was
just a couple of
that was
months
the
after
last
that.
project he worked on. Yeah, which is, I mean, a fantastic thing, and unfortunately a sad thing as well that it was the one time.
Yeah, Richard Hunt was actually doing like scouting for Jim during this week. In other words,
Oh.
they knew they were planning
Mm-hmm.
on doing a lot more production in LA now that
Right.
they were
Going to
going
be
to be with
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
So they had hired 25 puppeteers, and they knew there were of varying backgrounds and
Mm-hmm.
experience.
Right.
So Richard Hunt was essentially doing scouting that whole week to sort of cherry pick the people he wanted to that Henson would want to work with in the future.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they put up one of these big rehearsal mirrors
Mm-hmm.
so we could just go there with any of the puppets we wanted and play around.
Okay.
So there was a lot of showing off going on.
Of
And
course.
generally, the more time people spent in front of the mirror, the less chance they had of getting anybody's attention because I just went in there and I just did a quick 5 minutes talk and I got out. It's like I'm
Well,
not going to.
which do you know which do you remember which character you used? No?
I
Okay.
have no idea.
Okay.
But I remember on the last day or the next to the last day, I was just sitting on an apple box watching the proceedings, and Richard walked by, and he stopped and he turned around and he said, "Oh, by the way, I put in a good word for you with Jim." And then he
Oh.
walked away, and I was like,
Oh, wow.
"Yeah,
Holy
I was."
cow.
I
Yeah.
started. I was just floating off of my box at that point.
Holy cow.
And so then I knew I was kind of on the short list for future
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
projects.
yeah.
And that's, I'm sure, how I got the call to audition for Dinosaurs the following year.
Oh, yeah. And you ended up doing Francine. Now, were you the head controller or were you the Yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
you
I was
went
Fran's puppeteer.
Yes, okay,
So
okay, yes,
I
yeah.
I was responsible for the animatronic head.
Right, right. Yes, okay.
I did all the dialogue on set. We rehearsed all the dialogue.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was the beats and everything were up to
Hmm.
all of us on the set who
Yeah,
did that.
yeah, yeah.
There was another person inside
Yeah.
who, for most of the season, most of the 65 episodes, was Tony Prince.
Oh, okay.
Then, and of course, her voice was re-recorded after.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, because yeah, I've seen some behind the stuff of that's recently popped up on YouTube of dinosaurs and all that. The guys dancing around with the costumes without the headpiece on, but the headpieces are so like technologically advanced too, especially for the time. The Now, was it radio control or was it all like pulley lever and all that sort of thing?
No, it was all electronic.
Electronic. Okay, okay. So that's
We could connect a cable
okay.
to it, but it would work wirelessly also.
Really? Okay. So I guess for
Yeah.
a big, like a wide shot, you'd be able to get, gotcha. Okay. So I see, I
Yeah,
see, I
so there's
see.
no cables.
Right,
Back
right.
then, they couldn't remove, there was no such thing as
Yeah,
rod
exactly. There's no
remover.
digital erasing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's like a totally different type of puppetry too, like pretty much, isn't it? Because,
Yes and no. I mean, the
okay.
whole system uses a Waldo and a stick. A Waldo is
Yeah.
basically a
For the
glove
for
that,
the hand piece. Yep, yep, yep,
right.
yep.
So it's designed to enable a puppeteer to use his or her puppetry skills on the
Okay. Yeah.
monitor with a
Right,
hand
right.
puppet in a new medium. It's designed to
Yeah.
just
Okay. Yeah.
translate over.
All right.
But of course, you have all these other controls that you can
With
operate
the
now.
yeah, the brows and whatnot and
Right.
eyes and whatnot. So it would just be
And lip shapes.
so it would just be you doing all of her stuffs? Oh wow. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay, so that's a
Uh,
lot of extra work.
yeah. Eye
The eye
focus,
control and yeah.
critically important. At the
Yeah.
beginning, when we were just starting out, if it was a close-up, somebody else would come in and do the eye control. There's a
Okay,
little
okay.
box that could be pulled off the control, and they would do that. So
Ah,
that
I see.
we were, didn't have, because if the eyes were wrong, the whole
Yeah,
shot,
yeah,
no good.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Pretty quickly, I learned I could handle it myself. I was one
Okay.
of the first ones, I think, to who they let do my own
Nice.
eyes on
Excellent,
Fran.
excellent.
Yeah, I just sort of took to it that way. But yeah, it's sort of like learning how to play an instrument.
Hmm.
It's just hours of
Yeah,
repetition.
no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Excellent. All right. So we're coming up on the end of this little time that we have here, which is, I mean, again, thank you for all this.
Sure.
So I've been seeing that this year there's been a couple of conventions where they're doing a 40th anniversary reunion and all that sort
Lot.
of thing. Yeah. So how's that been going so far this year? Like
So
I've seen
far,
that you've
great.
been on a couple of them as well, like you with all the punks sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's the 40th anniversary this year.
unfortunately the surviving the current living actors that are in
Yes.
still around, unfortunately. But so like, do you
Let's.
have any upcoming
Yeah, I'm
recently?
just checking. I've
Okay.
got six of them more
Oh shit.
over the
Wow.
course of the year.
That's
Um, yeah. So let's see. The next convention I have scheduled is in July.
okay.
It's the Days of the Dead in Phoenix.
Oh, I did see that one advertised. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, followed by one of these I'm not supposed to advertise yet. I better not tell you the others
I
because I can't remember which one hasn't been locked in yet.
gotcha. I see. Oh, one of those situations.
But
Okay,
I'm
cool.
pretty sure Days of the Dead Phoenix
Right.
for July is out already,
Okay.
or at least it is
Well,
now.
I've seen the advertisement for that one in July in Phoenix. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Uh,
is it great getting to see, I guess, the old gang for, I don't think you were.
yeah, we're all like it's just old. We've been doing this for like 20 years
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
We
Yeah,
did, we
yeah.
all worked on the movie for 2 weeks and
Yeah,
or
yeah,
six
exactly.
weeks
Yeah.
in their case,
Yeah,
two
right,
weeks in
right.
mine. And then it was for the next 20 years, crickets.
And
And
then all
then
of a
about
sudden,
20
yeah,
years ago, we all started doing these conventions
yeah.
and it just
And
it's
now you're up to 40 years.
40 years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's yeah.
We all, we can't believe it has this kind of longevity.
Mm,
It's crazy.
excellent, excellent. All right. Well, like I said, we're running out of the time here. I want to, like, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for this, Alan. This is
Oh, sure.
fantastic.
I know it took a while for us to to
Yeah, no,
coordinate
that's yeah,
this.
whatever. No, it happens to work out perfectly. I'm gonna take segments of this and drop it into the different episodes that Tarman shows up in, which is
Oh,
kind of
great.
neat.
Awesome.
So yeah, so like I think I put in the email. I don't have it in front of me the actual date, but I think like the 30th of April is the first appearance of Tarman. So I'll put
Okay.
a little bit of this in there. And again, I'll splice it throughout the couple other, like, I think there's like at least 6 or 7 other episodes that Tarman at least appears in partially,
Okay,
sort of
cool.
thing. So I'll put them in there.
Cool.
And so yeah, have a fantastic day. Have a great 40th anniversary year that's going
Thank you,
on.
Troy.
And thanks for this.
Sure thing.
I might maybe ask you a couple little questions down the line somewhere. Maybe we can get
We'll
back together and do something
follow
if
up.
if it's
Yeah,
good for you, if you don't mind.
sure.
Okay,
No problem.
well, my the clock's about to end. Thank you very much, sir, and
All
I
right.
really do
Thanks, Troy.
appreciate this. Thank you very
Good
much.
meeting you in person.
Yeah,
Sort of.
digitally, it's fantastic. Take care, man.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.